Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Tonight was NXT Takeover Chicago, and in all honesty, it was a pretty great show. Now, there were some surprises, and there were some things that, everybody expected would happen. I mean, Asuka kept her championship, NXT Women's title. Boom, expected that. Hideo Itami lost, Bobby Roode still NXT champion. Boom, expected that. Roderick Strong did beat Eric Young in a good match. Expected that. AOP kept their titles. Expected that. But that match was probably 20, 30 times better than anyone could have expected. And then the finish of the show. But the one standout, other than what happened at the end of the show, the standout match was that NXT... Let me recompose myself. The standout match was that UK Championship match. Pete Dunne versus Tyler Bate. When Pete Dunne captures the NXT... Why do I keep saying NXT? Because I got NXT on my screen. The UK Championship, that match was off the charts. But the show ended... We were at the, 6 o'clock? It was like the hour-ish mark or so. And they started the NXT Championship match. And I was like, oh, something big is happening in that ladder match. Or after that ladder match. If that match is going on last. And something big did. Not only, like I said, was it a good match. But, man. Champa turning on Gargano. And then the heat he got from that crowd. I assumed, because I told you guys earlier in the week that it was rumored that Champa would turn on Gargano and they were going to split up. And I assumed that, of course, the crowd's going to be behind Gargano and they're going to boo Champa for attacking him or doing whatever he does. But that crowd was legit pissed off that Johnny Gargano got attacked, that Tommaso Ciampa turned on his supposed best friend. I mean, Gargano had Ciampa in his wedding. He was one of his groomsmen. But man, that's just, oh man. That and then the championship match for the UK title, that match was amazing as well. But if you guys want to call in and talk about NXT Takeover Chicago, the line is open. Phone number on the screen, 559-475-8473. Like I said, was a great show. First bit of news we did get from TakeOver was, unfortunately, that Ember Moon's going to be out of action for 6 months. Ember was on the pre-show and went on to say, I'm lucky that the injury isn't worse than it is. I'm lucky that I'm going to be able to come back, but it's going to be not for 6 months. So with that, we now know, okay, she's not going to be back in time for Brooklyn, which is when they were actually originally expecting her to come back. I know a lot of people were mad about Adam Cole, but I kept telling you. I told you every live stream, every time you guys asked, is Adam Cole going to be at TakeOver? I told you no. Adam Cole will not be at TakeOver, and I'll explain why after we take this call. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, it's Adrian. My name is Adrian.
How's it going, AJ?
I just want to ask you, what's next for Bobby Roode? You think he's still be gonna face Hideo Itami, or what's next for Roode?
Drew McIntyre challenging for that championship.
Do you think he's gonna go against Drew McIntyre?
Right now, the last I heard, the plan was Drew McIntyre challenging in Brooklyn.
Well, my last question was, were you surprised we didn't see Adam Cole in the crowd?
Not at all. I've been saying ever since he became a free agent, I've been saying he wasn't going to be at this TakeOver. And it's a fact of, first off, it's too soon. WWE would not have enough time to get his medicals done, to get all the legal paperwork done, to get him to actually sign. And then one thing that pretty much confirmed it to me, it was either Wednesday or Thursday, he was announced for a new indie show doing a championship match in NEW against Cody Rhodes. Before this week, his last indie show was supposed to be last night for PWG. But with him announcing more shows, or at least one more show this week, it all confirmed that he hadn't signed with WWE yet, or he wouldn't be announcing new shows.
Okay. So you think Brooklyn's a possibility?
Oh, yeah. I think give it 60 days, maybe.
Okay. Thanks for taking my call.
Not a problem. Have a great night. Thanks for calling. So yeah, with Adam Cole, I knew he wasn't going to be at this show. It's too soon. Like I said, he's got to do his medicals. They got to get it all back and make sure he's 100% good. He's got to get all his legal paperwork done, get his contract finalized, sign that contract. It's been, 20 days since he's been a free agent? It's too soon. I knew he wasn't going to be here at NXT Takeover Chicago. Now, NXT Takeover Brooklyn, that's a different story. He can show up there. He can show up on NXT TV before NXT Takeover Brooklyn and set up for a match at NXT Takeover Brooklyn. I assume they're going to be taping NXT. They taped 3 matches for this Wednesday show. So they're either going to tape the next couple of weeks, this Wednesday or Thursday. I doubt he'll be on that, but he could come in for the following tapings that lead up to Brooklyn. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Oh, not much, man. I gotta admit, well, first of all, I'm a huge fan of you and what you do for the media of wrestlers. I also like you in trying to be that. So,
Well, thank you.
okay,
I appreciate that.
No problem, bro. Okay, so obviously I just heard with the whole Rude McIntyre thing, that's great and dandy.
Right.
Well, what about Asuka? So what about Asuka? Well, it is unfortunate what happened with Ember Moon with 6 months, so
Yeah.
she will not be back, unfortunately, until November. Where do you see with Asuka going from here? What reports have you heard from that?
I haven't heard anything because, like I had just said, they were hoping she would be back in time for Brooklyn. They really thought when she first got diagnosed with a shoulder injury, they thought 2 months. But then tonight, she
and now
said
the fact
herself
that it's 6 months.
They're scrambling.
So
They're
the
going to be
fact that it's now
scrambling.
6. Oh man. So is it safe to assume that Asuka will? This will be the first time in history that we will not have a women's championship match at a takeover?
I don't know if you can say that. They could build somebody else up, but they can't use Nikki Cross or Ruby Riott again because she beat both of them.
Exactly.
The way she,
I was getting ready to say that.
Like if she had only pinned one of them, then that would be okay. You can use the other one, saying, "Oh, I didn't get beat." But she pinned both of them in the middle of the ring, so that screws
and
you
read
up.
my mind. And you read my mind on that one, considering,
Exactly.
yeah, I was thinking the same thing, like, okay, if you pinned either Nikki or Ruby separately, it was like, okay, then you're going to feud this person. But the fact that you pinned both of them,
Exactly.
it's time to bring someone else up. If it were me, you can help me out with here. I'm not the best in the world, but I'm going to try.
Okay.
If it were me and I were trying to build someone, best bet, well, what do you think about Liv Morgan?
I don't see her as a legit title contender, to be honest. They've just made her really made her and Aaliyah. They're just these, I guess you could say, pretty girls that come out there, try to have a match and look cute. I think they really screwed up Aaliyah with the whole Breaking Ground show, to be honest.
Oh, you're not kidding, brother. You are not kidding. I tried.
When her whole focus on Breaking Ground was, I got to have a cool entrance, not I need to learn to wrestle, that killed her for me instantly.
It did. Like, don't get me wrong. I have nothing against Breaking Ground. Like, I understood what they were trying to do, but with Liv, like, here's the thing. I actually like Liv. She's actually one of those like people she's cool to hang around.
Right.
But wrestling wise, I don't know. If it were me, I'd probably have her leave or something. Take that road. I don't think she's ready to be a wrestler.
Right. But I mean, if you look at the women they have in NXT, nobody is like anybody. You can't see anybody there that could be a challenger. Even if it wasn't Asuka the champion, if it was, say, Nikki Cross the champion, there's still nobody they've built up that could be an actual challenger. Like, who deserves a championship match? They're just going to have to grant somebody one.
You're right. I think it's safe to say, to quote Asuka, no one is ready for her. At least not at this point in time. Well, I want to get to the end real quick before I talk about the NXT Championship. Let's go talk about the end. My God. I mean, I knew at some point that the turn was going to happen, but the way it happened and that Chicago crowd, and I've always said I love WWE in Chicago because they are loud, they are rowdy. But when that happened and I heard chants from A-Hole and all that good stuff, I knew something was up. So what do you know? How do you think? Okay, if it were you, and it was NXT Wednesday night, how would you have Ciampa explain his actions?
Well,
why did he do what he did?
this Wednesday, they're not going to be doing that. This Wednesday, they taped 3 matches before TakeOver. So anything that's going to happen with the follow-up to tonight's actual TakeOver show, they're either going to have maybe some random backstage interview, but anything in-ring that's going to be like Fallout won't be till the following week.
Okay, well, if it were you
right.
and you were one of the bookers, how would you book Ciampa explaining his actions, like saying why he did what he did to Gargano?
I mean, they've been playing up a lot ever since the two even got together that Gargano's the quote-unquote weaker one. So maybe he could say, I'm fed up. I'm trying so hard to win, and Gargano's just always there taking me down, and now I have to take him out so I can do my own thing. I mean, it's pretty simple. They've been playing this up since the Cruiserweight Classic last year.
Oh, you got that right. I mean, what's weird is that one of my friends, who, by the way, to the fans, you can follow him. He's at the Wrestling Blog. He's one of my good friends. He even stated that he expected the turn to happen ever since the Cruiserweight Classic happened.
Oh, yeah.
And we all expected it. We just didn't know when and we didn't know where. And I honestly thought when they won the titles, I'm like, wow, so you really can't put them up now. So, and then, Dallas. Then Orlando happened, and then now this happened. It's, like, unbelievable. So is it safe to say, okay, well, before I ask this question, what is your overall review of DIY as a team?
Oh, they were an amazing tag team. Like, they were, when you say, like, who are some of the best tag teams in the last couple of years, you got to lump in, it's WWE-wise, you got to lump in DIY, The Revival, American Alpha. I mean, some of the best tag teams in WWE came through NXT, but other teams like the Usos, they're great together. You've got the Hardys are great together. Even Sheamus and Cesaro have become a great tag team together. But
I know we're talking about NXT. Wait, before
right.
we continue, I know we're talking about NXT, but it's okay if I talk about some main roster stuff too?
Sure.
Okay, so you mentioned American Alpha, and don't get me wrong, I love the guys. I really, really do. I mean, I was happy for them when they won the NXT tag team titles, and as well when the SmackDown tag team titles. But don't you kind of feel they've gotten, stale?
It's the booking. It's the fact of that when they brought him in, they started making Gable look like a chump. He kept getting beat up by the Usos and getting beat up by everybody, and he just got made to look so weak. And so when they finally did win the championships there on SmackDown, the crowd wasn't even behind them. It's the booking that screwed them up.
Well, you're right on that. But as far as the crowd, okay, you're half right that the crowd wasn't supporting of them, but you did kind of hear some cheers, especially considering that Jason Jordan is from Chicago.
Right.
Yeah, people don't understand that. Jordan is from Chicago. Gable isn't. Jordan is. So you kind of did hear some cheers. They just don't announce that, he's from Chicago, considering he's always with Gable. So that's, I guess, the main reason of it. Another thing. You were talking about Sheamus and Cesaro. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to lie. When this pairing first happened, I was not behind it. I was completely against it. I just thought, okay, they're just doing some stupid stuff.
Right.
But I got to admit, they impressed me after a while. Like, I think back to Survivor Series this past year, when they were the final, survivors for Team Raw when they beat Team SmackDown Live.
Right.
Then when they ended the New Day's historic title reign, and they were champions. Granted, it was a short time, but I thought, okay, maybe they can build something. And now here we are, this new heel Cesaro, and we knew Sheamus was a likable dude. He was not a likable dude. But Cesaro, okay, he hadn't been heel since 2013 or 14.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see how he performs under this heel gimmick after being a babyface for God knows how many years. And now you're in this new feud with a returning Hardy team, which, by the way, they really need to bring the broken gimmick back. They really do. I wish that Impact Wrestling could just settle the differences and just say, here, take the gimmick. But regarding Sheamus and Cesaro, okay, they're taking on the Hardys again in a rematch, no problem. If it were me, though, I would probably make it a tornado tag team match, so there'd be no controversy, no this or that. Yeah, I get it. The payback, they won, the Hardys, of course. But if you add a tornado tag team match or tornado tag team elimination match, that will erase any doubt as to who deserves to be the Raw tag team champions.
Exactly. I get exactly what you're saying there.
Yeah, and, speaking of Extreme Rules, can I talk? I'm trying to calm myself down a bit. I know, I'm just a little choked up on NXT. That You can't argue that. By the way,
Right.
Is it safe to say that match of the year goes to Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate?
Oh, it could. That match was amazing.
It was 5-star. It was unbelievable. Granted, it got off to a slow start, but that's kind of how wrestling is. You start slow,
you
and
gotta
then you
build.
move fast. You gotta build. And I gotta admit, I knew the two were going to steal the show, but I didn't think they were going to steal the show that good.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't think it would be leaps and bounds better than everything.
And what's weird is that we all expected Pete Dunne to win. So when he did, the place went bonkers.
Yeah.
And I gotta admit, okay, I don't know if you know this or not, but I spoke about one of my friends, the wrestling boss. Not too long ago, I think it was either him or the Wrestling Classic, they showed this awesome thing that a fan did. You know how, well, before I say this, what is your take on Evolution?
The group Evolution?
The original Evolution,
Oh,
not 2014.
I was always a fan of them. I loved them.
Well, what one of the fans did, and I would love this too, a 2017 formation of Evolution.
I know
Hear me
what you're
out.
saying.
Yeah, Triple H, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe,
Pete Dunne.
and Pete Dunne.
Right.
That would they be like the better Evolution as opposed to the original?
I don't know. I get you have, Triple H in the Ric Flair role, and then you have
Batista and Orton.
Right. Batista and Orton with Owens and Joe.
I mean, I know it's not going to happen now, but
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, true. Well, let's talk about some Backlash real quick. You up for that?
Go.
Okay, so I saw in your news you talked about how the odds changed to now Jinder Mahal will now be favored to win. He is now the favorite. Okay. What do you think of Jinder Mahal? Should that happen? If he becomes champion.
I think the heel heat that freaking Ciampa got last night, he may get that tomorrow night if he gets that championship. Because if there's a lot of the same people going to Backlash tomorrow, because you got to remember it's the same city, the same arena. If there's a lot of the same people going to Backlash tomorrow, he's gonna get some crazy heat. The only issue.
I only wish.
My only issue.
I only wish.
Go for it.
Wait, what's your issue?
If he's going to win that championship, I think it should go on last. But as of this morning, they're talking about putting Owens and AJ on last.
Is that a bad thing?
I think if Jinder's winning the title, the crowd may be so pissed off that it's going to take them out of it, and they're not going to be hyped up enough. Yes, it's Owens and AJ Styles, but I just think
fans love them. The fans love.
I just think if they're so pissed off that Jinder wins that title, I don't know. I think that should be the last thing, and you just have that crowd going crazy, and you just fade out with Jinder standing in the middle of the ring with the championship, and the crowd just shitting on him.
Yeah. Well, speaking of heels, okay. Now I know a lot of people talked about this. That's this whole Charlotte babyface run. One of the things, and this isn't something I kind of wish would happen. I don't know who's the favorite of that 6-woman tag team match? Who's the favorite?
As of this morning, it was Natty, Carmella, and Tamina.
Oh man, I was getting ready to say, I'm going to say this, win or lose, I think Charlotte needs to attack both Becky and Naomi and go back to being full heel so she can just focus on being the champion. Because let's be honest, Charlotte's not really a babyface.
No. And Charlotte said it on Talking Smack. She said, regardless of what happens on Sunday, yes, I'll team with you guys, but my ultimate goal is to come after Naomi in that championship. She said it on Talking Smack.
Do you see it happening at SummerSlam, Charlotte winning the title, or do you see it happening on an episode of SmackDown Live?
Well, they have 3 more pay-per-views. Well, 2 pay-per-views after Backlash before SummerSlam. They have Money in the Bank, and they have Battleground.
You're right. I literally forgot about that.
Yeah, because SummerSlam's not until August.
I know, but that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking far ahead.
I don't know if you can drag it out that long. I mean, maybe you stop the focus, pull the focus away a little bit. Maybe let Carmella challenge and lose, and then bring the focus back to Charlotte or something.
Yeah, you're right. I was thinking about that, considering Carmella has pinned Naomi twice, and I'm thinking, okay, when does Carmella get her championship opportunity?
That is something I have heard over the last week, that they could make her a challenger, but she's not going to win the championship. At least not now.
I mean, hey, well, speaking of Carmella, let's talk about her real quick. When they brought her up, I gotta admit, I expected nothing from her. You know, she was the same person I saw in NXT, just Enzo and Cass's dudette, if you will.
Right.
So when she turned heel on Nikki Bella, I expected less, even more. But I gotta admit,
that was the greatest idea they could have ever came up with for her.
I know. It was a great thing. I'm not saying it was bad. It was a great thing.
Oh, yeah.
I just didn't know how the character was going to play out. Knowing that she was a face for so long, how will they plan out being a heel? So, yeah, I got to admit, her turning heel was the greatest thing ever. Like, it built her character more. It helped her get heat, when necessary, of course.
Right.
I mean, heck, you did a Backlash last year. She was the final two to win the inaugural SmackDown Women's Championship, which was won by Becky Lynch. But could you imagine what would have happened if they gave it to Carmella and imagine that she would have gotten...
Oh, that would have been crazy.
It would have been. Like, don't get me wrong. If memory serves me right, last year, wasn't Nikki Bella the favorite to win the title?
It was her and Becky. It was really, really close. Yeah,
but, I mean, overall, it said that Nikki was the favorite to win the inaugural title. So the fact that it wasn't... Yeah, so the fact that it wasn't, it makes you go... Whoa, they're really not going to give it to Nikki Bella? Okay, I have no problem with that.
But they also knew they also knew back then that Nikki wasn't long term because her neck was she didn't even come back at 100%. So they knew she was maybe a year and that was it. So they weren't going to build much as far as championship wise around her.
Oh man, you got that right. And you mentioned Natty and Tamina. Okay, I mean, I gotta admit, when Natalya turned heel last year at Money in the Bank, I admit I did not see it coming, but I just felt it lacked something, though. Like, yeah, we didn't see it coming, but it just lacked something. Like, all she did was attack Becky. Then SmackDown Live comes, and then the feud with Nikki Bella. To me, and you can help agree with this or not, but to me, I think Natalya's feud with Nikki Bella, it helped the Natalya heel character, because all she did was hit people from... Well, yeah, a little bit, but I think it helped her overall, mainly if you look at it this way. When she turned heel, all she did was attack people from behind and just say shut up and all that stuff. It's just like the typical heel stuff. And then you had the feud with Nikki Bella where she said... Oh, I'll put it this way. I knew Natalya was the one that attacked Nikki Bella at Survivor Series.
Oh, yeah, everybody knew that.
But did you expect it to be revealed in the fashion that she did it?
Maybe not exactly the way they did it.
Was it like, I mean, because I gotta admit, it was one of those things where, like, we knew who did it, but it was the way they showed that she did it that made you go, whoa. Like, and then there's Tamina. Okay, how long has it been since Tamina been in the ring?
Oh, I don't even know, to be honest.
I think it's been a year since WrestleMania 32.
Probably.
Yeah, around a year.
Well, yeah, she was working house shows and stuff. I know she went on the European tour after last year's WrestleMania. So, probably...
Yeah, but I'm talking about television-wise.
10, 11 months.
Television-wise, it's been a year.
Most likely, yeah.
How do you think Tamina will do on our first match back? Like, I know this is a match no one cares about, but...
I mean... She'll be all right. It's the fact of that they can't ever give her an actual character. All she is the female muscle standing behind the other women. She did it with the Team Bad. She did it with AJ Lee. Now she's doing it with Natty. I mean, they can't actually develop her other than, oh, she's a big girl. She's muscular. She's strong. She can maybe beat some people up.
You're right. Well, the only character that's worse than... any character in the world, the James Ellsworth character. He does not need to be involved in this.
I think he's funny.
Okay, I will admit... Well, I admit he's funny. I agree with you there. But here's the thing. I think a lot of people, and some people I've talked to, say this. I don't know if you can agree with them. They say that as much as Ellsworth's character is funny, he shouldn't be involved with this feud whatsoever. Granted, yes, he's Carmella's quote-unquote boyfriend, but he shouldn't be involved in this. You know, it should be just to the women, and that's that. Like, do you agree with that or no?
I mean, I can agree a little bit, but at the same time, he does bring the comedy factor into all this because all the women are trying to be serious, and then you have Ellsworth over there just being the goof, so it kind of balances things out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you watched this past Tuesday SmackDown Live.
Yes.
It was one of the worst contract signing segments I have ever seen.
Oh yeah,
but
it
at
was
the same time,
very unneeded.
It was unneeded, but at the same time, it was very funny thanks to Ellsworth, because he was like, "Oh yeah, you three would never have a show with me."
Right.
I gotta admit, unneeded, but it was very entertaining. I mean, it was really, really, really funny. And you mentioned this is something you also mentioned. You talked about the Usos being one of the best. I agree with you on that. What do you think about their somewhat current rivalry with the Fashion Popo?
Oh, I think it's been good.
Well, what about their little Law and Order parodies that they've done?
I think that's actually shown the fans that Fandango and Tyler Breeze can be more than just two guys that come out with a selfie stick or two guys that come out and try to be like, oh, I'm a fashionista kind of guy. No, it shows that they've actually got depth and that they can actually pull off character stuff other than just trying to be stupid.
You're right on that. Well, you're right on that. And, okay, we can all agree the Usos are going to retain the titles, but does this match, the Usos versus the Fashion Police, have potential to be a show stealer?
Not a show stealer, but I think it could be a good match.
The reason I say show stealer is because everyone says, because it's mainly due to the speed of the Usos. Granted, they're somewhat old, but, they do have some speed. And same for Tyler Breeze and Fandango. They're kind of young. I think they're kind of young. And, they both have speed as well. So I think that's the main reason. I don't really know why, but the Usos are kind of like WWE's version of the Young Bucks. Why is beyond me. But, it is what it is. And this brings us to Owens and AJ. Let's be honest. We know Kevin Owens is going to retain the U.S. title. And I love AJ, but I'd be shocked if they give AJ the U.S. title.
Right. As of this morning, the odds had shifted in Owens' favor. But Owens was always an even, so it was more like, yes, AJ was the favorite, but it's not expected. Like most odds are.
One of the things that everyone's talking about, and I know you saw how the show opened on SmackDown with the Kevin Owens highlight reel.
Right.
Is it being reported, what do you know about a potential SummerSlam match between Owens and Jericho? Because everyone's saying, well, maybe this stuff with Jericho isn't fully over yet.
No, it's not. Jericho will come back and get his revenge on Kevin Owens. That is the plan.
All right. What about AJ Styles?
Honestly, I heard that they're going to groom AJ. They're going to build him back up for the championship and maybe face Orton at SummerSlam, maybe?
Wait. Orton?
If Orton's still a champion.
Well, that is one of the rumors and the reports, but you got to wonder, okay, I'll put it this way. If Orton wins the title, then they're going to obviously build for Orton and AJ towards SummerSlam at some point. But if Jinder wins, I think there's something that you mentioned in one of your YouTube videos recently about why they're building Jinder the way they are to help build that India promotion, you know?
Right. Build up the fan base in India because when you look at WWE as far as social media, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, they get the most views from India, but they're not making as much money as they possibly could in India. So if they have a star from India that they're predominantly pushing, they feel that, India thinks, they're taking us and our people serious. Let's support them more.
I agree with you there. But I want to talk about the other brand real quick, Monday Night Raw.
All right, 2 minutes.
All right. Extreme Rules, as you know, is coming up.
Right.
I already talked about Hardy, Sheamus, and Cesaro. I want to talk about this stupid kendo stick on a pole match, Bayley versus Alexa Bliss for the Raw Women's title. Stupid match. It really is. We know Alexa Bliss is going to win. But, okay, I don't know if you follow this YouTube channel. It's called TV Tracks, where, like you, they do wrestling reviews and whatnot.
Okay.
One of the things that I listened to was to do an angle on Raw where they have Mick Foley come back in some sort of shape, way, or form and do one of his passionate promos to help Bayley, quote-unquote, get
Mick isn't going to come back. Mick just had hip surgery. He's taking whatever time off. Mick wasn't even under an actual contract with WWE. He was really just there working per day.
But it was one of the things that but it was one of the things that they had brought up. What if they could somehow get Mick Foley to do just a one appearance thing, whether it's in the ring or backstage, to try to do one of his passionate promos to help Bayley, quote unquote, get extreme. Because remember, that's one of the things Alexa Bliss said, and I agree with her. You look at someone like Bayley, she can't get mean with the best of them, especially in a match where there's really no rules. Like, Bayley's not that type of girl.
I get what you're saying, but they did the same thing with Mick Foley and Sami Zayn, and it went nowhere.
I agree with you there. And last but not least, since I only have 1 minute left, the Fatal 5-Way Extreme Rules match. Is it safe to say that, and I can't believe I'm saying the pay-per-view name, Great Balls of Fire,
right?
We are going to see Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar for the Universal Championship.
Well, it depends, because originally...
Because, let's be real, I don't think... Because remember, they're saving Roman Lesnar for this year's WrestleMania,
right? And
they're going to have him feud with Miz for the Intercontinental title, so it's not going to be Roman. I don't think it's going to be Steph, considering, he's still doing this thing with Samoa Joe. I don't think it's Bray yet. Like, I'm sure one day they're going to give him a match with Lesnar. I just don't think it's going to be now. So, if it were me, the best option is to go with Finn Balor, considering, remember, he never lost the title, and he needs to get, like, his one match done.
If it was me, I'd save Finn for SummerSlam, because then you have that thing. 1 year ago, he won the championship. 1 year ago, he also lost the championship at the same time.
I didn't think...
You go Seth Rollins and Great Balls of Fire is what I would do.
So you would give the ball to Seth Rollins?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know what?
Because Seth is somebody that can... Because Seth can lose, and it won't hurt him. The fans will still be behind him.
Yeah.
It won't hurt him as bad as if you have somebody like Bray Wyatt, who's not had a good last couple of months, lose to Brock Lesnar right now. Finn Balor. I think if Finn's going to lose, it's got to be at SummerSlam with this big emotional story behind him.
Yeah, you're right. But here's the thing about Seth, real quick. Here's the thing about Seth. Seth, you're right. It won't hurt his character, but everyone's wondering what type of character is he? Because he's cutting cheesy promos and all this good stuff. I get he's a babyface, which is I don't want him healed, at least not at this point yet. But it's like he's this cheesy babyface that we've seen grown stale over the years. That's kind of a problem. I want that intense Seth Rollins. I think we all want that intense Seth Rollins. I like him, but I want that intensity that we've seen when he was a heel with all these years. That's the Seth Rollins we want to see. Be the babyface, but be an intense one.
Right. And maybe if he earns himself a championship match, we'll see that. But we're gonna have to wait and see exactly what they do, because honestly, I bet you they change their minds 20 times before Extreme Rules even starts.
And that's WWE's main problem, the 2020 book. Yeah. We can all agree on that.
Oh yeah. Well, thanks for the call. Have a great night.
You too, my man.
Not a problem. All right, so he's asking, Seth Rollins, can he win and go on to Great Balls of Fire? Honestly, I don't even know if they know who's going to win right now with Extreme Rules and everything going into Great Balls of Fire. Because if you think about it, like Payback last month, they changed the finish for the NXT Women's title match 3 or 4 times between Friday and Sunday. Before we take another call, let's check out the chat here. We've got Che Lu, Robert Cathy, I0, Mohammed Abid, Enrico. We've got Sarah Smool, Mac PC. Everyone's asking Adam Cole. I'm telling you guys, I kept saying Adam Cole will not be at TakeOver Chicago. He will not be there. Let's see. Wrestling Crypto says match of the night: Pete Dunne versus Bate or AOP versus DIY. Oh, Dunne versus Bate for sure. Match of the night. Let's see. Promo of Tommy Rude is very awesome, but the match is really bad. The match wasn't bad. I liked the Tommy versus Rude. I thought it was a really good match, but it could have been better, of course. But at the same time, I think they got their time cut, because if you look at it, the Gargano Champa thing at the end of the show actually ran a little longer than I think they were expecting to go. So that match itself may have ran a little long. And I could be wrong, but it looked to me like they rushed a couple things in the NXT title match, and it could have been that their time was cut. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Good, and you?
Pretty good.
That's good. I just finished watching the NXT Takeover.
Awesome.
First, I want to say, when was the last time you heard that chant?
Which chant?
The asshole chant.
The last time. I honestly, in WWE, I don't know.
Yeah, that was like last time they called Vince. So I think that's like 4 years ago when The Rock said something about that to Vince.
Right. I think it probably was sooner than that. But
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, they probably chant it to Roman Reigns every week, and we just don't hear it because they lower the mics on the crowd.
True. But I didn't know he was going to get that much heat.
Yeah, I didn't either. I knew they were going to boo him. I expected something.
Yeah.
But I didn't think they were going to, like, destroy him as far as, fuck you, Champa, asshole.
Yeah.
I even heard a go to hell chant really, really briefly. Like, damn.
Oh, I heard that. I'm surprised that they got that much
oh, yeah.
heat. The other thing I was going to say, I heard that y'all were talking about Randy Orton and AJ. Well, earlier today I saw on Instagram a picture of AJ giving the title to Randy Orton. I don't know where I've seen it, but I've seen it. I think that was like a tease for a storyline or something like that.
I don't know.
But yeah, I think the show was good.
Oh yeah, tonight's show was really good.
Yeah. And I know Adam Cole wasn't going to be there either.
Yeah, it was obvious. I mean, most people wanted him to be there, but it's too soon.
Yeah. The one that I was thinking that was going to be there was Crazy Steve. That's the one I was thinking that was going to pop up there.
He could have, but I had heard that they were waiting on his, as of, what was it? It was sometime this past week. I heard they were still waiting on his medicals to come back, and he was going to probably come in maybe this set of tapings that's going to happen either Wednesday or Thursday, or the following set of TV tapings is when they were expecting him, because, like I said, his medicals hadn't fully come back, so they couldn't finalize his contract yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if I see Adam Cole coming back, I'll say it'll be August 19th, because that's the next takeover they're having.
I mean, unless they do like with Austin Aries. Austin Aries showed up at a NXT TV taping, got attacked by Baron Corbin, and then at NXT Dallas, he had his first match. So they could do something like that as well. Have him build to a match at Brooklyn, come in at the last set of tapings beforehand.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because they did that with Austin Aries, and they did with somebody else like that, didn't they?
Well, I know, like with Aleister Black, they just announced him for a match at TakeOver against Andrade Cien Almas, but he was never on NXT before that. So they could do that as well. Just say, hey, so-and-so, you want a match? We'll have a mystery opponent for you.
True. And for you, which one was the fight of the night?
Oh, UK title match for sure.
UK title. Well, I would say that's the match of the night, but the oh my god moment, I think it has to be from the tag team title match, because I thought Gargano landed on his head.
Oh, I thought he did too, because he barely got his shins to land on him when he went for that dive. He overshot that a lot. Yeah,
but I thought he did that, and then I saw the replay that he took a roll.
Yeah.
Like, damn, that looked nasty
Very bad.
First. Yeah. Well, that's all I have for tonight.
All right. Thanks for the call. Have a great
all
night.
Right. You too.
All right. Here. Let's see. We got Blackout 824 saying Adam Cole will be at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. Bullet Club versus Shields asking about Ember Moon. He says, is Ember Moon 6 months a work? I don't think it is. I heard that her injury always was legitimate. Now, the 6-month thing could be true. Like I said, last I had heard was 2 months, be back for Brooklyn. I'm going to look into this. But the 6-month thing, depending on how bad the shoulder actually is, it could be legitimate. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on? Hello?
Hey, what's up, bro?
How's it going?
All right. I just got back from the show, man.
Oh, nice.
Oh, man. It was really crazy. And I'm going back tomorrow for Backlash.
Nice. Awesome.
So, man, the end of the show, that was really awesome. Like, I watched it back on my phone on the way out, and I seen the way they put the logo at the end of the show like it was ending.
Right.
That was perfect. That was a perfectly set up. And by the way,
yeah.
I don't know if you heard about what apparently Triple H did, like a Facebook Live, and he said something about Ciampa's got a big injury and he's out or something. So,
are you talking about he did it Facebook? I know he's supposed to be on Facebook after TakeOver. I haven't seen that yet. Champa did get hurt at the live event on Thursday. Some were saying it was a work. Some were saying that it was a legitimate injury. But he worked perfectly fine in the match tonight.
Yeah, I don't know if you're aware, like Justin LeBar or whatever his name is.
Right.
Tweeted. You can check his Twitter page. He tweeted out because I think he was watching it or something.
Okay.
But just really crazy matches. Pete Dunne match was awesome. The ladder match was great. The finish from the Asuka match was really cool, to be honest.
Yeah, it was probably better there than it was, because watching it on TV, it just kind of was like, oh, she pinned them both. Like, it kind of was, it was going good, it felt good the whole match, and then it just ended, kind of. Like, it didn't seem, I don't know, so maybe it was better live than it came off on TV.
Yeah, and it was, I'm telling you, everybody was getting their hopes up, and come on, man. Adam Cole was in Los Angeles last night, bro.
Right. I mean, they can red-eye him in, but...
That's obvious. Yeah, they do it with the Hardys, that's true, but, I'll tell you what, though. He'll be here, probably, or he could show up on the next tapings, but the WWE thing, they're going to wait 90 days because of something legal crap.
Right. Plus, they need to get all their medicals done. They need to get, all their legal stuff filled out on the contracts and finished, and... Yeah, I mean, we're probably not going to see him till... I mean, there is a slight chance he can be at the tapings, because they usually tape 3 or 4 weeks in advance. So he can be at the tapings maybe before TakeOver, but I wouldn't be surprised if they waited and have him come in at TakeOver.
Well, here's what I'm thinking. I think their mentality is that Adam Cole is kind of a big deal, and they don't want to, sit at the tapings,
That's a
good
way to think about it, yeah.
Something, which would be pretty cool. And I'm telling one last thing, man. Backlash tomorrow. I think AJ and Owens is going to steal the damn show for damn sure.
Oh yeah.
And I honestly believe that at the end of the night, we're going to see Rusev attacking whoever the champion is.
You think?
Yeah, and one last thing. Mike Bennett wasn't in the crowd tonight, so that confirms she's going to SmackDown.
Well, yeah, really the main reason they want him for SmackDown, it's his wife. They want Maria on there. Because she's a well-known name, and they've been talking about maybe having her do Total Divas.
Yeah, and to me, it just doesn't make sense. Like, I think Bennett, she still could have brought her on Total Divas. He could have started at NXT, but it is what it is, though. But I'm going to hang up right now and ask you this question. Who do you think Mike Bennett and Maria should feud with right off the bat?
Well, it's hard because you got to lump them together, but if it was just Mike Bennett, I'd say put him into a program with Ty Dillinger. Those two would have some good matches. But you got him and Maria. It all depends on how they use them together. Is Maria just going to be his Maurice and be at ringside with them? Are they actually looking to let Maria wrestle? Are they actually going to make them, like another Miz and Maurice? We don't know how they're going to use them together, or if they're going to maybe kind of try to keep them together but separate at the same time. That's the big question, is we don't know how they're going to use Maria.
All right, man, don't think I'm crazy, but what about Cena and Nikki versus them two?
They could, but I don't see Nikki coming back anytime soon, and Cena's coming back on a super limited role.
Yeah, so obviously they're going to have to use their days with Cena correctly, and you know what? Right. I'm looking forward to what they're going to do, because I think the interesting part is coming next year, because you remember, a certain cleaner is going to be a free agent next year.
Next February or March, correctly.
Yeah, could you imagine they picking up the Omega Cole feud in WWE?
I mean, if he comes to WWE, because he honestly thought about it this year and said, nope, I'm staying in Japan another year. So maybe they put that IWGP Heavyweight Championship on him, and he goes, you know what? I'm staying here for another year. You never know.
Right, and you hear Meltzer keeps kind of, not hinting, but kind of saying that he feels that there's a chance that if they don't put the title on him because they know he's only signed for a limited time.
Right.
So if he doesn't win the title, I think it's an indication of where he's going.
Maybe. I mean, he's got that championship match. What is it, June 11th?
Yeah, that's going to be great, man. I'm going to be watching all. Have a good one, bro.
Not a problem. Have a good night. Thanks for the call.
Bye, man.
All right. Let's see who's here. Native Stars joined us. Taco Tyler. Now, I want to talk about the end of TakeOver before I take some more calls. So, TakeOver ended, and they showed the replays and everything. Authors of Pain walk out with the championships, and Gargano and Champa are sitting in the ring. It was just like the end of their Cruiserweight Classic match. They're sitting there. They're all like, man, we just had a great match, but it was just, we couldn't get it. They did their little hug thing while they're sitting down. They stood up, hugged again, and it made you think, the crowd's like, DIY. And to me, I don't know if it made anybody else think this, but it almost made me feel like it was like their send-off. Like, okay, they're done in NXT. They're coming to the main roster. They walked up the ramp together. They were still, kind of hugging it out. They were at the top of the ramp, hugging it out. The logo comes on the screen like the show's over. I'm thinking, honestly, I'm like, okay, is this why they went on last? Because it's their send-off. I haven't seen either man turn on each other. And as the show's about to dip to black, boom, Champa turns on Gargano. They did that well because they almost, at least for me, I don't know, like I said, let me know what you guys think about this. They made me believe like it was their send-off. Like they were done with NXT. They were going to come to the main roster. And then, boom, they swerved us. So they did that whole thing, the end of the show, very, very masterfully, in my opinion. They set it all up great. A lot of you guys are asking, what's the plans for Drew McIntyre, Drew Galloway, whatever you want to call him. And I think he's going to be the challenger next to Bobby Roode in the championship at NXT TakeOver Brooklyn. That's really what I'm hearing. Let's see. Wrestling Crypto says, thoughts on Velveteen Dream. I mean, what are you gonna say about it? We've seen him, this is his third different debut in NXT, and yeah, they can't really figure out what to do with him. I know this coming week he's gonna defeat some random jobber. The match was actually filmed before TakeOver. Spoiler alert. Let's take this call here from this person. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim, what's up?
How's it going?
Going good. How about yourself?
Pretty good. What you think about TakeOver?
I'm gonna be honest. Hats off to WWE, always putting up great NXT shows. And sometimes after you watch a show, you have some little small complaints all the time, right? 'Cause
Right.
It's always gonna be that way.
Oh yeah.
But overall, it was a great show. I thought Tyler Bates, he stole the show. I knew they were gonna steal the show. It was fantastic. The right man won, especially. They told a great story. Fantastic match.
For sure.
But if we can talk about one thing, let's talk about this. That spot in the ladder match, when the ladder exploded, I have never seen anything like that.
The wooden ladder?
I guess so, the wooden ladder.
I mean, when you see it breaking, you see the little wood cips, or whatever you want to call it, the splinters split off, and the way, it didn't even sound like a metal ladder, like literally, like when you heard the other ladder spot where Champa goes through one of the guys from Authors of Pain, you hear the of the metal ladder or whatever you want to say it is. But that one, they hit it and it just boom, like when they explode a table.
It was like, even if it was a wooden ladder, that was amazing because I've never seen anything like that.
No, off the top of a ladder with a guy that size.
It was. I did not know they were going to pull it off. I saw Ciampa going for a German suplex. I was like, no,
I thought maybe Ciampa was going to try, and then as he was getting ready to get him, the other guy would come around and pull him off or something. I didn't think they were going to go through with it.
Well, what a dangerous spot as well. There was a lot of dangerous spots in the match, especially when they both jumped off. Yeah, Johnny Gargano really overshot his. He fell bad. I feel like Tommaso Ciampa also felt bad, but he kind of rolled his way through,
right.
So he kind of was okay with it. But WWE, I'm mad at y'all because y'all made me feel some type of way in this match because we were going to the end. I was about to shut off the TV, the whole app. I was about to say, okay, you know what? The rumors weren't true. They're not going to break up. They're still going to be together. And then you even saw a little thing at the corner. Whenever
they were going off the screen.
Yeah, they were going off, and I was like, okay, happy days. They're still together. And then it happened, and I was like, oh my god.
Because like I said, they did the whole thing like they usually do when somebody's leaving NXT for the main roster. They slowly get out of the ring. They slowly walk up the ramp. They let the crowd cheer and do their little chant, and then they go off screen. But at that last second, he turned on them. They did that well.
They did that really well, and I don't know if you tweeted it or you retweeted it, but where you said that now Gargano knows the true meaning of DIY.
Oh yeah, I retweeted that for somebody else.
Okay, well yeah, I guess I saw that, and I was like, that actually makes perfect sense. Yeah, like I'm doing myself, yeah.
You know, exactly, and that's something that Gargano or Champa can say. You know, I've been teaming with you. We're called DIY, but DIY is really, you know, yourself. Myself, I got to do things for my own.
And they pulled up a good promo, especially on the Cruiserweight Classic, where Tommaso Ciampa said that Johnny Wrestling, all I ever hear is Johnny Wrestling.
Now, they've been teasing this for a year. They've been teasing it for a year, and because they were such a great team together, people kept forgetting, you know, oh, they're teasing a split up, but then they got the titles, then they lost the titles, and they were like legit challengers, and just they were so great together, people kept forgetting that tease.
Yeah, they're just a fantastic team. You would feel like they should just stick together, but you know, all good things come to an end. And
exactly.
The thing of Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano is that they're great together and separate. We saw what they could do in CWC, and that match was stiff. It was fantastic. Told a great story. It showed how Johnny Gargano has so much heart, and it showed exactly in this match that they have so much heart. They won't give up. They're gonna have a fantastic feud. It's
gonna be great if they do that at Takeover Brooklyn. Match of the night, most likely.
I hope so, and I hope we're not, you know, going too far now, because I want that to be match of the night, and I know they can pull it off.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, they're legit really, really good friends. And just like with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, they say you have your best matches with your best friends because you're willing to hit your best friend harder. You're willing to slam them harder. You're willing to mess them up. Unlike somebody else who, oh, crap, I got to be careful with this guy because I don't know him as well, and I don't know if he's going to get offended by something I do.
Yeah, it's the trust that you have with somebody else that you can have that good chemistry with. What else? Let's see. Roderick Strong and Eric Young. I did pull in the favor of Roderick Strong. It was a good match. I love the touch of Roderick Strong attacking Sanity from behind. I think that was fantastic.
Yes, that was a great swerve because no one saw it coming. Everyone just thought, you know, he'd come down to the ring normal and they'd start their match. But trying to, you know, get things in his favor early on really was a good little turn.
Yeah, because while it was his entrance going on, I was like, we're strong. I was like, did he get attacked backstage?
Right.
What happened?
Because I thought because when he first didn't come out, I thought, oh, they're doing some special entrance because they've been trying to build him up. Maybe he's going to get something fancy or something. And then when he just jumped from the crowd, it was good. It was a good little thing to try and, you know, swerve the odds in his way.
So have you heard anything about Roderick Strong? Like maybe top star soon in NXT, or maybe at least the title match?
All I know is they were very impressed with the reaction the fans have been giving him since those promos they did, those 6-minute videos they did, like I think it was twice. Ever since they did those on NXT, he's been getting even bigger reactions at house shows, and they've been very impressed with that. And they want to try, because usually when someone comes to NXT, they just throw him out there first thing, full bore, if they want to make him a star. But they're going to do something with Roderick Strong that's different. They want to try the slow build in NXT, maybe over 5-6 months, and then give him a shot at the NXT title. I mean, they could change their minds. They could have something happen where they need to throw him in there. But right now, the plan is to use him as an experiment, kind of, as a slow build, because they've never really done that slow build in NXT.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. And then I want to compare these two things. I want to compare an NXT show to a main roster pay-per-view. For example, the UK match. Okay. We could put the UK match as in a cruiserweight match from the main roster. And it felt just so different how people, like, because I'm going to be honest. Okay, look, people, like you said, like I talked to you before about what's wrong with 205 Live and all that. And I feel like people should know more who the cruiserweights are than these guys, the UK.
Right.
Pete. I mean, I know Pete Dunne. You know, I've been following him for long. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not gonna jump on a bandwagon. Before the UK Championship, I didn't really know who Tyler Bate was. I didn't know who he was.
Exactly.
So I think he's fantastic. That Spiral Tap was amazing.
Right.
It was fantastic. So I was just gonna ask, like, you know, how's it so different how I mean, NXT always pulls it off, but like they pulled off a UK match and people were into it. Why can't the main roster do that with the cruiserweights? Like, it's just so weird.
I don't know. Maybe it's because in NXT, like, ever since they announced that this match was going to take place, they kept showing video package over video package about both guys, about Tyler Bate, about Pete Dunne, and they kept trying to just tell us more about each guy. When we go to, say, a cruiserweight title match in the WWE, like, say, last month on Payback, it's just like, hey, you see these guys on Raw, you see these guys on 205 Live, they're going to have a match at Payback. They don't actually build anything up as far as, like, you know, these guys fought here, and these guys did this, and this guy is a champion in this promotion. That's another thing. Like, with the UK guys, they let them wrestle in other promotions, and they have made note that, you know, Pete Dunne is so good that he is a champion of another promotion. And we're learning more. We're learning more about these guys as far as, like, with Tyler Bate. They always say, you know, he's young. He started when he was this old, and I don't know why it's different. Like, they should be doing this with main roster guys, but with these UK guys, they're giving us more of a backstory, and I think that's why some more of the fans are invested with them, because we're learning more about them.
That's what they did in the CWC. They did small video packages before the matches. Yeah.
Yeah, like they did some great ones with, I think it was Cedric Alexander, with Rich Swann. They did one with Rich Swann one or two times.
TJ Perkins was good, too.
Yes, they did a good one with TJ Perkins. They even had a good video package with Grand Metalik. I mean, I know the issues that they're having with him. He's not learning English as fast as they want, and that's why he's not being shown on TV. But even though he spoke Spanish in those promos he did for the Cruiserweight Classic, it's still the fans were invested in him because they liked him and he was genuine. It's not like, oh, they're making him speak English with only the words he knows. No, they let him be himself, and that's the other thing. On the main roster, you're too over-scripted, so people don't believe you half the time when you say stuff. What we've seen with the Cruiserweight Classic, what we've seen with the UK show, they don't sound and they don't seem over-scripted. They just seem like, you know, they've got bullet points on what to talk about, but they're pretty much given a little more free reign as far as what they can say, not just like, you know, especially like with, say, Roman Reigns or Charlotte. You can tell they're saying them lines that they were given 20 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm. Well, I feel like the cruiserweights, they should just automatically just be taken off Raw. It has to happen. Like, they're not. I mean, yes, people will say like, no, like, you have to keep them on Raw because that's where you're gonna promote them more. That's where people are gonna look at them more. But you know, it's not gonna work, especially on a 3-hour show that that like you're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss the cruiserweights. It's like it's a 3-hour show. You're gonna skip something. You're gonna miss them. Like,
exactly.
It was way better to get rid of 205 Live completely and just put them on SmackDown.
Yeah, they should. Honestly.
But because they did it perfectly in CWC.
Right. But at the same time, SmackDown's a 2-hour show, so they feel like, you know, with Raw, we can give them that 3 to 6 minutes that they need. But they need more than 3 to 6 minutes, to be honest, to promote them.
Yeah, they really do. Mm-hmm. I mean, because SmackDown, like you said, a 2-hour show. I mean, I feel like if they maybe, what about 205 Live having it before SmackDown rather than after? Because that's when a lot of people just, start to leave.
But then it couldn't be live, because if you think about it, if it's live before SmackDown, okay, SmackDown starts at 8, so that would be 7 o'clock Eastern time. But here on the West Coast, that would be like 4 o'clock. Most people are still at work, I mean, no one's going to watch it live at 4 o'clock here on the West Coast.
Oh, yeah, true. It's just, I don't know, how can
they stifled themselves putting the word live onto it. If they would have just called it like, the Cruiserweight Show or 205 something else, then they could always change it. But putting the word live kind of stifles it a little bit.
Yeah, they should just kept it like an NXT, like they don't say NXT Live,
Right. Exactly.
Okay, and final comments before we hang up.
Okay.
About tomorrow, Backlash.
What do you got?
I'm going to be honest, I am not at all excited or convinced to watching the show tomorrow. Like,
you're not even excited for Owens versus Styles?
Like, I should be, but I know it's going to be a great match. I've seen Oh, actually, I hope they put on a great match because the last match I watched between Owens and Styles, it was just like 20 minutes of headlocks and taunting, and AJ Styles won. So
Right.
I hope they put on a better match. I can see Kevin Owens winning. I think he should be the winner because AJ Styles needs to be at the top.
Oh, yeah.
Well, AJ Styles doesn't even need a title to be great. He can put on a great show with anybody.
Exactly. It's kind of like the John Cena thing. He's such a big star that you put the title on somebody else to help somebody else. It's not going to hurt him not being the champion. He's still going to be the most over guy on the show.
And honestly, I am one of those people who is just like, this man is really good. Like, when he came out of the Royal Rumble, it was unbelievable. And to this day, I would have never thought he would be one of the most over persons on the whole roster.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, greatest wrestler in the world the last 2 or 3 years.
He's fantastic, especially his first year in WWE. And the Artist, here we go. The Artist against the model, Dolph Ziggler. I don't know who decided or who was like, you know what, let's call him the Artist. It's a good name.
Yeah, it's kind of dumb.
It really is. Like, I was so worried about Shinsuke coming over to the main roster, and I was like, I was just like, you know what, calm down. Maybe they won't do something bad. And then the Artist, it's starting already. Wow.
As long as they don't take any of his stuff away that he did in NXT, I think he'll be fine. The name's whatever. I mean, people don't like the name, but I think him and Ziggler can go out there and have a pretty good match. When Ziggler has to, he can perform. He can put on a good match. I mean, he hasn't been given the best of opponents over the last year. I mean, Baron Corbin, the match he had with Dean Ambrose at SummerSlam last year wasn't that great.
Apollo Crews.
Exactly. Apollo Crews, Kalisto. I think Ziggler's
that handicap match, no.
Yeah, I think Ziggler's way better than the opponents he's been given, and that's his issue is they're using him to help get other guys better and help get other guys familiar with the main roster. And he does well in that role, but we need to see what he can do with somebody that's good, somebody that can deliver like he can. And I think him and Shinsuke can go out there and have a pretty good match.
Yeah, fantastic match. Before we continue on Backlash, I just want to know whose idea was it that it was a good idea to put two faces against one heel, like in a handicap match, and have the faces win.
That was a very dumb idea.
That was really dumb. And my prediction, Shinsuke has to win. He can't lose.
No, he won't lose. They won't mess that up.
And I don't know who else is on the card. Jinder Mahal and Randy Orton. I'm gonna be honest. I have not been sold on this rivalry at all. Like, don't get me wrong, Jinder Mahal, it's a cool touch. Like SmackDown really is the land of opportunity. Anybody can win. And just like I don't know if it was the last caller, he talked about WWE trying to push more, I guess, trying to get more money from viewers in India.
Right.
And I mean, yeah, business is a business. I can't say anything about WWE because you're in the business to make money, and that's how it's going to be like that. So I'm not really sold onto this rivalry because I feel like it's going to be a one-off. Like Jinder loses and he's out.
I don't know. I mean, as of right now, Jinder is favored to win the championship.
Oh, really?
Yes, he is. He is favored over Randy Orton right now.
Oh, well, didn't like at the Royal Rumble. I'm pretty sure I saw one of your videos. Didn't on the morning of the Royal Rumble, didn't the whole odds went right on Randy Orton? Like they just favored Randy Orton on the day?
Yes, and for Backlash, it was the same thing. At Backlash, on Saturday night, Bayley was favored to win. Less than 2 hours before Backlash started, it's shifted to Alexa Bliss. So, I mean, they changed their minds.
Payback.
Yeah, for Payback. They changed their mind on that women's title match, Alexa Bliss and Bayley, 4 times between Friday and the start of the show.
I think they made the right decision.
So, we'll have to wait and see.
And who else is on the card?
You got the WWE Championship match, Orton Jinder. You've got the U.S. title match, Owens and Styles. You've got the tag team title match, Usos Breezango, Shinsuke Dolph. You've got Naomi, Charlotte, Becky taking on Natty, Carmella, Tamina. You've got Zayn and Corbin. You've got Harper and Rowan. And then on the pre-show is Dillinger and Aiden English.
Oh, how you doing, Joe, in the pre-show?
Yep.
That's not a good way to start your main roster.
Not at all. Not at all.
It's not, because the guy's over. His chant is over. Everybody chants it. Like, it's just amazing. Harper and Rowan, I think I'm gonna go crazy, and I'm gonna say Rowan.
Maybe.
Just because, yeah.
Especially with his whole thing he did on
to
Talking
build up
Smack
look.
this week. But I heard
yeah,
I heard that feud's gonna go for a couple months. It's gonna be back and forth.
Back and forth.
Yeah.
Breezango and the Usos. As much as I love Tyler Breeze, especially in NXT, and he has not been booked right at all in the main roster. I want Breezango to win, but I think the Usos are gonna win.
Yeah, Usos probably win and then feud with the New Day.
Oh yeah, the New Day. Oh yeah, what happened? They're about to come back.
They can come back. Literally, I think Kofi either is getting checked out this week or already got checked out and cleared, but they could be back at any time after Backlash, is last I heard. So they can essentially come back next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday, and I'm hearing Mike Bennett and Maria are also supposed to come after Backlash.
Anytime after Backlash, yeah, they're signed on. I heard it's like 95% confirmed that they signed a contract and they can be on SmackDown anytime after this weekend.
Okay, well, people in the live chat, don't hate me for this. Don't hate me for this. Don't torture me for this. Don't torture my family. I have no idea who Mike Bennett is.
That's perfectly fine because you're not alone. A lot of people don't, because he's worked TNA. His recent run was in TNA. A lot of people don't watch TNA. His biggest runs came in Ring of Honor. I know there's a lot of people that don't watch Ring of Honor. He was a former junior heavyweight tag team champion in New Japan when he was working for Ring of Honor. So he is really good, and he used to be in a stable with Adam Cole, the Kingdom. So if they have them both, there can be a little dynamic there as well.
Okay, so because I know Maria. I mean, everybody knows Maria, but yeah, I never knew about this Mike Bennett.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, one more question. Oh, sorry about that. Just one more question because I really need to know.
Go for it.
Ember Moon. Like I asked you before, and you said it was a word, but now is this legit 6 months or?
I said the Ember Moon's thing was always legitimate.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, you said legitimate. Sorry.
Last I heard was 2 months, but she said tonight on the pre-show that it's 6 months. So maybe, because I said 2 months about a week ago, so maybe sometime this week she got it reevaluated. She saw more doctors or something, and they told her 6 months. I don't know when she got the 6 month word, but like I said, they were hoping that it was not as bad as it is, and she could be back in time for Brooklyn. But she did announce today herself 6 months.
So that's not a word, right? That's legitimate. 6 months.
That's legitimate. Because I was told when it happened, you can tell that she was like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm selling the shoulder. She was legitimately crying in pain.
Yeah, I heard.
After it happened.
She was crying at ringside.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can tell the difference between crying for selling and crying for real. And I was told that she was crying for real.
So you think they're holding off the women's championship until Ember Moon comes back and then takes it from Asuka?
Honestly, I don't know, because you got to have Asuka defended against somebody, and she defeated both women together tonight. She pinned them both at the same time.
Yeah.
So that kills using either of them again.
So I would say maybe. Well, maybe let's say she does come back in tag, because like when the next takeover, they're not gonna have any more takeovers right until Takeover Brooklyn.
Right.
So that's August. So that we still have like around roughly a little bit less than 3 months, or around 3 months. So maybe maybe she could come back. Maybe she'll pull a John Cena.
I mean, she could. She could, but she was saying on the pre-show 6 months, and you never know. She can, like you're saying, pull a John Cena, come back early. Maybe she can be given the 6 month, but it could be like a Braun Strowman thing where she can be out up to 6 months, but not. But that's the worst case scenario.
Well, I have no idea what NXT is going to do for a women's championship match on Brooklyn.
Yeah, I have no clue either. I mean, there's nobody else that can take on Asuka. Who do you got? You've got Liv Morgan, Aaliyah. I mean, I guess I forgot about them, but you can always do again Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. I forgot about them. You do have them. One of them can challenge if you really wanted to.
Yeah,
I forgot
that's
about
actually
them.
perfectly fine because they're actually. A lot of people don't like them. I do. I think they're fantastic together.
Right.
They're great, and I feel like they remind me of what were their name back then? Michelle McCool and Layla.
Oh yeah.
Cool. And they kind of remind me of that, and I feel like it should work, and I feel like they probably should get another. They're not going to beat Oscar. No, honestly, nobody can beat Oscar right now. Not even John Cena himself can beat Oscar. And it's going to be. I think Ember Moon's going to be the person to take it. Or I mean, like we still don't know what the winner of the women's tournament will get.
Exactly. And no, that's supposed to end the week after. I was going to say maybe the winner can get a title shot at TakeOver Brooklyn or something, but that's supposed to end like a week or two after the TakeOver event, so that wouldn't work.
So I guess NXT got no NXT. They'll figure something out. We're probably leading into the next takings.
Right.
All right, then, Tim. Well, appreciate it for the time. Have a good night.
You too. Have a great night. So yeah, with Ember Moon out, I didn't think about this when the other caller asked earlier about who can challenge, but yeah, Peyton Royce and Billie Kay for sure are two people that they've had championship match. They did the whole thing at San Antonio. They're over with the crowd to an extent, and people like them as far as their act goes. They're good heels, so use one of them. In the meantime, like I said, the Ember Moon thing could be up to 6 months, and 6 months being the worst case scenario. Well, let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat. Robert Cathy says, Bobby Roode is on another level. He's doing way better than his beer money days. That's for sure. Bobby Roode is amazing. I mean, he was good as TNA heavyweight champion, but he's doing amazing. And I mean amazing as the NXT champion. Christopher Rott says, can I call the number tomorrow night before Backlash? No, I won't be on before Backlash. I'll be on after Backlash. Taco Tyler, is WWE's option for the 90 days? I don't know what you're talking about as far as 90 days. Oh, 90 day. That's when you leave WWE. There's 90 days where you can't work for promotions and stuff. You can't be on TV for nobody. You can't do certain things for 90 days when you leave WWE. Now, WWE, if they want to sign somebody, say like they wanted to sign Adam Cole today, they don't have to wait 90 days because ROH, who he was signed with, doesn't have a 90-day no-compete clause or any kind of no-compete clause when you leave their promotion. I think WWE is the only one that has that. So I just think right now, Adam Cole is going to be coming in. It's just a fact of they got to take their time to get all the medicals done right, to get all the paperwork done, get him signed, get him acclimated to how they want to use him. And according to Dave Meltzer, the NXT officials, people in charge in NXT, believe he's signing and are already coming up with like major plans for him to be a top guy, if not the top guy in NXT. Caller, you're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, Tim.
How's it going?
Pretty good. I'm going to try and keep this under five minutes. It's been some long calls tonight.
Right.
But I have a question. I'm not going to lie with you. I'm not a big fan of NXT.
Okay.
Who did Bobby Roode face tonight?
Hideo Itami.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Interesting. And then I gotta ask you about what the whole quote unquote Bullet Club reunion. Finn Balor, is that like, I don't know, is that like a rumor or what's going on with that?
What do you mean? As far as them doing it in WWE?
Yeah, them doing it like currently on the Raw brand.
Okay, so what happened was WWE released a series of photos of, like when they do their photo shoots when you win a championship or you change your gimmick or something. WWE, or they'll just sometimes for fun, you'll go backstage, you'll take some photos with people or whatever. And WWE had one of those photos with Balor, Gallows, and Anderson. So what Finn did, because Finn likes to tease, Finn put it out on Twitter and just put imagine ... saying, hey, what would you guys think of this? I don't know if it's in the plans. I know with Braun Strowman out, they feel like they do need another heel on Raw, and some officials have said, hey, let's do the Balor thing. Let's turn him. Let's put him with Gallows and Anderson. I don't know if it's actually going to happen, but like I said, some have pitched the idea, and Finn obviously is teasing it, so maybe something can happen, but I honestly don't know if anything will right now.
Yeah, honestly, Finn Balor, that would be amazing. Like, that would be something else. I mean, that'd be awesome, but honestly, I'm really, like, picky about my favorite wrestlers. I kind of just want him to be let him finish his stuff being a good guy for about a year or so. Then maybe have some sort of mega heel turn in New Orleans next year. I don't know.
Okay, that would work. But like, if you've ever seen any of the actual Bullet Club stuff with Finn Balor, he was an amazing heel in Japan.
Exactly.
So.
But I mean, if you can't like have a match with AJ because he's on SmackDown, or you can't get together with, you can't get back with AJ, or I mean, it just makes sense to stick him with Gallows and Anderson.
Right.
But
actually, him and AJ were never together in the Bullet Club because AJ came in right after he left for WWE.
Yeah. This is kind of a dumb question. Why didn't they do the Slammies last year?
Honestly, I don't know. It was just something that they just decided, you know what? We've been doing it for, 5-6 years now. We're not going to do it this year. I don't know why they didn't do it. It just didn't happen.
I mean, well, if you want to look at the match of the year, it's probably Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn at Battleground, probably.
Right.
Match, but so Backlash tomorrow. That's so Jinder is now favored.
Yes, Jinder is the favorite right now to go over Randy Orton and get the championship.
Yeah, of course he is. That's just crazy. I mean, I get that they're trying to push him,
right?
But it's. I was telling my dad earlier, I'm like, maybe WWE needs to just need to make the audience stick with them, and just, it's a force for you to give them the title. Like you give them the title, and obviously I don't think really Vince really cares what we do anyway. But you give him the title, and you can WWE can say, you know what, audience, stick it. He's a champion, and then people might take him seriously.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I mean, that's what they have to do because right now no one's taking him serious. You give him the championship, maybe it'll help him, maybe it won't. Honestly, we won't know unless they do try it.
Yeah, and I mean, what do you? I mean,
he's gonna get real, especially if he gets that title tomorrow in Chicago. That crowd, if there's anything like they were tonight, that crowd's gonna be sounding great when they're booing him and stuff.
Yeah, I turned it on halfway through, and the first thing I heard was asshole. So
yeah.
I mean, the rowdiest crowds are usually always in Chicago.
Oh yeah, that's
big
for
cities,
sure.
Big cities, Chicago.
Chicago's always the best.
Chicago's the best when they're at Raw or SmackDown. Then you got okay cities like London who are okay.
Right.
Then you got Detroit, which isn't bad. And then you got LA, which is just LA.
Right. They're sometimes good, sometimes not. They're kind of iffy in LA.
Yeah. What do you think about the whole show tomorrow, Backlash?
I mean, it's
the whole show.
It's not going to be bad. There's probably 3 matches that'll be really good, and then the other matches will just be whatever. I mean, Owens and AJ is going to be really good. I can see Nakamura and Dolph Ziggler having a really good match. And then, depending on how it's done, Orton and Mahal could be a decent match, if not a little above average, if done correctly.
Yeah, well, you never did other caller. I was listening to that whole thing. If they're going to give Jinder the title, and Chicago is not going to take Jinder seriously, they're going to boo him, you got to do it last.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was thinking, too.
Because that's just wasting great talent like AJ Styles and Kevin Owens on the higher mid-card to main event, and obviously they're going to have probably the best match of the night, and then boom, the crowd just won't be into it. I mean, they're going to be into it, and obviously they're paying customers and stuff, but like, they're just gonna be idiots, and like, so if you're gonna give Jinder the title, you have to do a laugh. It's common sense. It's common sense, and if Orton wins it, I'd give it to Rusev at Money in the Bank or SummerSlam.
And that's the thing. I'm hearing now that we may get another AJ Styles Shane McMahon situation where AJ keeps asking for a title match, but this time it'd be Rusev, and Shane say, no, you haven't earned another match, and then they could possibly be doing a Shane McMahon versus Rusev match.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of people thought badly about the AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. You know, I was at WrestleMania, and it was such a, that was my favorite match because I mean the sun was just going down. This is my favorite match of the night, and that's something I'll always remember. So
gotcha.
I would look forward to Rusev versus Shane McMahon. It'd just be such a great. I don't know, but anyway, I think Backlash is going to be okay.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be horrible, but there'll be some matches that'll save the show for sure.
It's going to hold its own.
Yeah.
And I guess nothing else to talk about other than I'm going to go to Raw on Monday.
Awesome. Sounds good.
All right. All right. Have a good night.
Thanks for the call. Have a great night.
Yep. We do.
So as far as NXT TakeOver goes tonight, I mean, it was an amazing show. One of the better takeovers we've had this year. Probably, I guess I could say it was better than NXT TakeOver in Orlando. Going into the show, a lot of people didn't have high expectations because, you know, they were just matches that no one was expecting to be great matches. They knew that the UK title match would be good, but other than that, everyone was just like, it's going to be okay. But the show actually delivered, in my opinion, way better than anybody could have expected. So tomorrow night we've got Backlash. Like I said, the main event is Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal. But that could be the not main event as far as they may put AJ Styles and Kevin Owens last with the United States title on the line. Then we have the tag title match, Usos defending against Breezango, Nakamura versus Ziggler, Naomi, Charlotte, and Becky versus Natalya, Carmella, Tamina, Zayn versus Baron Corbin, Luke Harper versus Eric Young, and then on the pre-show, Ty Dillinger versus Aiden English. So we will be doing another live show tomorrow night following WWE's Backlash event. So, I mean, like I said, Jinder's favored to win the championship. If that does change, I will let you guys know. So follow us here on Facebook, or follow us here on YouTube, also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. That's going to do it for tonight's show here on YouTube. Thanks to everybody who was here in the live chat, who called in, and we'll see you tomorrow night for Backlash.